Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm probably late for another episode, but hello, it's me again, Mocha Demonio, in the house. Work. I'm gonna first talk about work. This is the main thing on my mind at the moment. Work is a place that I declare a sunk cost fallacy and a dead end. And I guess I should have expected that from retail, but I guess I just had high standards of what could be done. After learning about leadership, learning about all these things that we could do, I thought, why not become the reason of change? It was pointless. It was a pointless pursuit of trying to be better. For who? Or to do better in hopes that the whole team can get a win or a W. I end up believing that it was a waste of time for them. However, I wouldn't say it was a waste of time for myself because it's safe to say I had a time and place to apply the information that I wanted to try. It was a loss, and I'll declare it as a loss. Sure, I have shared the information with people and they're applying it, and it's three people better than one, or zero at all. In that sense, that is still a win. But I believe the system has failed us to enable such a change. And when people try to change, nothing happens from the higher ups, or that's what it feels like. From the top of the top to the middle to bottom, there's a massive miscommunication. There's a massive miscommunication on all three ends, and we as the grunts have to suffer for it, and it's annoying. And then our manager gets yelled at. They didn't know, and then the highest manager says something, and then another middle manager from a different shift says something else, and we're all confused. Who are we supposed to believe? They're higher ups, so we just follow orders. It's just BS, you know. We have to suffer through all this. I'm about to move out relatively soon. I had this whole plans in New Zealand to do this and that, and have this computer help me do something. But I believe I'm gonna have to abandon this idea. Temporarily, at least. And that bums me out. I had so much plans. And now things have been officialized. I felt like all that planning was for nothing. But it's not like I'll stop doing them regardless. So we'll see in the future how much of the stories I can tell can actually be in fruition. But for now, I want to focus on what I can do for myself, what I can do to improve my situation overall. Tell the stories that I want, to improve in the skills that I want, and actually invest in myself to the point I can say I'm actually being more than 1% better. I guess in 3 months, at least 20% better. I hope so. I hope so. The title of this podcast was supposed to be White Belt Mentality, but end up choosing Kaizen Mentality because I remember from a Fort 9, that's where I got the title Mindset Kaizen Mentality, Kaizen Mindset? Kaizen Mindset from. Like the 1% improvements. That's where I got the original idea and learned about Kaizen through Fort 9's video about like Honda's motorcycles and all that jazz. But speaking of Kaizen, mindset, Fortnite, and motorcycles, I rode a motorcycle for the first time. I spent the first 4 days actually learning the basics of basics. And it's safe to say because I'm a motorist or I'm able to drive a car. I commute I commute via car commonly, and every now and then I commute via bicycle, like a push pedal bike or specifically a gravel bike. Having both of them, the mindset of being a motorist and a driver, like knowing the rules of the road and having it second nature, and being as hyper aware as a cyclist, really transferred well going to a motorcycle. But I got carried away there. Let's talk about the first 4 days, which is basically me practicing. It felt like a really big bike, a really heavy and big bike. And that is quite obvious. It's like a dumbest statement I've ever said, but it really felt that way. I felt like, oh, it's just like riding a bike. It's just, having to get used to the clutch. And the first 2 days, actually, me drilling myself in a parking lot to run it and then stop and learn how to use the clutch. Run it, stop, do the clutch, run it, stop, do the clutch. And then I said to myself, okay, let's add the indicators. Did the same thing over and over for like 5 hours straight in a whole day, just circling in figure eights, circling around in a parking lot, practicing the indicators, practicing the clutch, knowing where the friction zone is, and it was pretty okay. I didn't drop the bike, so that's good. Second day, I added more difficulty, like figure eight and then stop, and then try to do a U-turn and then stop, figure eight again and then stop. So I'm able to practice this back and forth, left and right hand turn. I had difficulty using the clutch on right hand turns because my hand keeps jamming on the gas tank. And I believe that's a common problem, so it's just my skill issue at the moment. I can't really say much. I haven't really practiced too much. It's only been 6 days. And it's not even my motorbike, so I'm gonna have to return it to its rightful owner. So thank you to my friend, which initials I'll use for now is Romeo Alpha. Thank you. Thank you, Romeo Alpha, for giving me an opportunity to practice with a motorbike and actually being nice enough to say, I trust you with this while I do my thing. Like, okay. So far, I haven't dropped this bike, and that's a good thing. But he dropped this bike day one. Oh, it's kind of unfair though, because there was genuine oil on the road, and it was a rainy day. So it's unfair to say, but yeah, I didn't crash his bike at all. I shouldn't jinx myself. I'll do. I'll still be as safe as I can on a motorbike because in the end of the day, it is still not mine. But it's something that I want to focus on. What have I improved? Okay. What have I improved from the last episode in my life? There was a YouTube video from Healthy Gamer or Dr. K about the puer aeternum, a concept that I have not heard before, but the more I listened to it, I said, if while I was listening to it, I said to myself, do I embody some of these character traits? Am I a hypocrite to say that, oh, I might just be like these people? And it got me thinking as I listened to it more and then I reflected to say, maybe I'm like the people he's mentioning. And this requires more reflection. It is all new concepts to me. So at the moment, things are fresh, things are new, they have not been fully processed, so I will keep it to myself for the meantime. But what I can say is, I will do some further reflection amongst myself. I have a A6 little notebook or diary. It has been finished, and it was written from 2024 to 2025. Why did I say 2017? Anyways, doesn't matter. So as I reflect on the things that I said to myself, maybe it will give me an insight to see if I'm one of those poor eternal people. Before I preach about it, I actually want to reflect first and say, have I removed the plank out of my eye before I remove the thorn out of someone else's eye? So that's one thing that I've learned and I'm trying to improve on. But in the end, I'm still going to be 1% better. So another thing in my notebook that I can share. Why do I keep misplacing my notebooks? This ain't the first time now. I should learn by now. Hey. I stood up too fast. I started seeing stars. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about, to be honest. I'm about to leave to the US of A relatively soon. And the more I hear about the US news, the confidence I had in my 7 year plan is now dwindling. I'm actually afraid to go to America as well. Because I'm still a green card holder, I'm still an immigrant, and there are some stories of green card holders or reports from secondhand information. I haven't seen the sources, so I'll take it as I may. But I will still say I have heard from many people that green card holders are still being deported to deported back to their original countries. And that makes me more afraid because I'm just a Filipino immigrant going to that country. Technically, I have a New Zealand citizenship, but that's still not a reason to be deported. It's just a status that I have. It's not going to stop any ICE members or whoever handles the borders to say, hey, you'll be deported. Or maybe I'm already in America, and next thing you know, out of nowhere, I get deported. Because why not? And I end up eventually stop caring about everything in general. Say, if it happens, it happens. It's outside of my control. For now, sad to say, the only thing I can control is myself. I feel afraid about it. I'm really worried that if I go to America, things like this can happen in my lifetime. Or to me. It's already happening in my lifetime, but mainly to me. And all the plans of going to America that I made for myself in my 7 year plan, and I have 2 years left. It's now 2025, 2 years? 2 years? It's all going to be for nothing. But if the Lord permits, I'll see what I can do. I'll just control my situation and worry less about what else is happening. And if I do get tackled and put in deportation, I'll still do something. Because being sad, crying about it is not going to help my situation. But I still have to remind myself to give myself time to say, it's like, it's okay to feel what I was feeling then. Give myself the time and space to feel what I was feeling, but still have the space to move on. Have space for emotions and then move on. It's a concept that I've been learning with my partner. Thus, it shall be. My partner taught me something recently regarding the intellectual property of Maori culture. I don't remember the Maori word that she used that day. I think it's wokatiki. I don't remember specifically, but the intellectual property of the Maori culture, like the symbolisms and the things regarding the culture, does have legal consequence. And actually, I don't mind this. Because one example of this was probably the swastika, where it was once upon a time a symbol of peace, but because of Nazi Germany, it now has been dwindled to negativity. So this intellectual property thing, I actually agree with New Zealand culture to give a legal action regarding an infringement of the Maori culture so that whatever symbolism that they may have will not be used for bad, like paraphernalia or unlawful protest, or simply put, crime. Besides, the already common crime, which is gangs, but we'll put them aside for now. Which also brings me back to why I brought this up. I want to tell a story to thank New Zealand about the warrior culture of the real Maoris. However, with this new intellectual property, this gives me more of a reason to actually connect more of the Maori people as I tell the story of the Japanese Maori combined culture. For the story I want to make in a very far future, I've been learning more cultures first before I make the story, but this gives me more of a reason to be more connected to the Maori people and their culture. So I guess for now, since I haven't really done much for that story, I've been focusing on another story. Hopefully, in the far future or near future, depending on what happens, I can do this right for them. But I must remind myself in the future before I carry on with the story, double check with them. And that's something that is 1% that I've learned recently. So I'll leave it at that. It's new information for me, so I can't really say much. What's another thing in my diary that I actually can share with you guys? Oh, I feel discontent of where I am in life, but I can see and have been told of the goodness I have done so far. By by being told, I mean like other people telling me that hey, you actually have done well, and here's what you're doing. And I did not acknowledge that little thing. I've been so focused on the things I didn't do that it requires someone else to actually say, "Hey, you've done this much. Why are you discrediting it? Or why are you not acknowledging it?" So I wrote in the next segment, being discontent does feel like an insult of my progress due to me discrediting myself and my self progress so far regarding life, knowledge, and experience. I've been so focused on what didn't happen. Like my friend already got his motorbike license. I was late. And I was like, man, this is bad. Like, I didn't get there on time. I didn't do my goals on time. I'm not going to America soon. All my plans are going to be discarded. I didn't do this part for my partner. I didn't do this and that. And then my partner and friends are to tell me, it's like, hey, you've gone this far. Why aren't you acknowledging it? And I couldn't answer them. I was just left on my guts or left on my own devices and just said, thanks. I didn't know how to respond. I said, thank you. But since they pointed it out, it is easier to see the things I actually did do. And yeah, I'm gonna get my motorbike license late. At least my friend has given me a time to practice the fundamentals before I go on the road and doing all this and that. When I go to America, hopefully I can get my license as well and actually be able to have a motorbike, a Rebel 500, or a Kawasaki Vulcan S, or hell, a Kawasaki Ninja, a low CC. We'll see. I wrote in the next segment. Okay, let's see what other segments that I actually wrote. Because that one's still under progress. I have not fully thought it out, so yeah. Me and my partner watched the new Demon Slayer movie. I can't remember his name. I think it's the Infinity Castle. Me and my partner watched the movie, and it was actually what I was hoping for in that kind of movie. Epic action. The problem is, I haven't watched the Swordsmith arc, but because I didn't want to miss this opportunity to watch a movie with my partner, I said, let's just watch it, even though we haven't fully caught up with it. But man, I was so looking forward to seeing Akasa again and the action. But I wasn't expecting to see his whole backstory. What do I think and feel about the movie? I feel content. I feel like I got what I wanted. Some cool action and martial arts action. Because I love martial arts, I participate in it. And seeing all these epic moves, I'm like, yeah, this makes me feel inspired to actually do it as well. Even though many of these aspects are unrealistic and very exaggerated. And Akasa's demon art is basically akin to actually no. And what I haven't said to my partner, but I also want, and I'll tell her soon, and I wanna say in this segment, is the empty space that Tanjiro went into. When I was hearing all that, I said, isn't that just flow state? Being in a actual flow state where you're like kind of hyper aware, but also not being under controlled by your emotions. Or actually, no. I guess in Jocko he would say detaching. Isn't that just detaching? Isn't the state of being somewhat outside of your body, being hyper aware of the whole scenario, putting a gun down or putting not being hyper focused on cutting his head, just be? Isn't that just detaching? So when I try to reflect and see the similarities, I'm like, yeah, I think this is flow state or detachment. However, I have read before the Book of Five Rings, and it does talk about it, but I might have to review it again to see if what I'm thinking or saying is akin to what I'm trying to communicate or what I've read as well. It's another thing I want to add to this discussion, right? Oh, this is interesting. This one I have processed, so I can share this one. It's using some Tagalog words, so I'll translate the word maingay. It just means noisy. What I wrote down goes as this: maingay, maingay, maingay. Noise, stimulation, irritant, irritation, audible nuisance, and audible fatigue. The whole world feels like it's only good at producing noise, never or hardly white noise, that makes you understand calm. Let me read this whole segment. Noise, stimulation, irritation, audible nuisance, and audible fatigue. The whole world feels like it's only good at producing noise, never white noise that makes you understand calm, chimes, wait, never white noise that makes you understand calm, period. Chimes, engines, notifications, sounds fills the whole audible air instead of the songs of birds, chatter of people, the rustling winds, the swaying of grass, the whistle of the wind, the deepness of the rain. Noise pollution is something I haven't considered before, but I think I'm feeling the effects of it. I just want some calm silence. The noise of it all can be too much. And every now and then when I'm on my own, I just put earmuffs on and just sit there, wallow in the silence. No podcast in my ear, no music, just muffled noise. And it makes me appreciate silence. Hell, not even hearing my own voice. This makes me appreciate silence. And I remember from not just bikes that some Western countries are actually quiet as you head out of these stations. There is no noise of rolling tires. There is no noise of the engines. It's just quiet. And I'm stuck in a noisy part of the country, which is Auckland. More specifically, I won't say. Damn. I end up saying the big city, and I end up saying the actual city. Oh, well, too bad on me. Oh, there goes my alarm. Give me a sec. That was bad. Oh, as I was saying, I remember from Not Just Bikes him saying that in some countries you go out of a station, it's just quiet. But when I go outside, it's just noisy. It feels overstimulating. And my partner always had a problem with overstimulating environments. And when she said that, I became hyper aware of what she meant. And it does get annoying. It does get too much. It becomes overwhelming. So every now and then, I would rather just drive with my noise canceling earphones. Ah, that's kind of a bad thing though. If I remember, that's actually against the law. Well, that's my bad. Or just go outside, put the same earbuds on, those earbuds on, have the active noise canceling on, and just walk. Not be too overstimulated. Or just be in my room, not even on Instagram, just sitting there. Just be stuck in my thoughts, enable myself to be bored. It's such a bad thing in this generation to always seek some stimulants without having the ability to be bored. We have abandoned boredom. People hate boredom. That's sad to me. Boredom was like a common feeling I had before when I was growing up. And the reason why many things are fun, in my personal opinion, because I had room for boredom, not room for overstimulation. Things have changed, huh? Another thing I can share. I don't know. Some of these things are personal stuff. Let me just turn on my phone for a bit. And it's in vibrate mode. What is something I want to add or discuss or share? One day, I'll be able to talk some of these things because are actually very personal stuff. About the diary. Actually, what can I actually talk about? How transparent can I be? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll be more transparent. Right now, things I knew. Things are new. I just want to share 1% progress. But I guess, how do you notice progress when I don't even share much about my life? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll open up. For now, many of these things are too new and too personal. So I guess I'll leave it at that. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Mocha Demonio. Signing out for now. Whoever is here and whoever is new, hello. I got not much to offer you yet. Maybe in the future. But I hope you have a better day at least. That I can wish for you. Signing out.